6:42 a.m. The kettle screamed from the kitchen. Evan was still half asleep when Maya's phone buzzed on the nightstand. Not a gentle buzz. A sharp, urgent vibration that rattled against the wood like it had something to prove. Maya grabbed it too fast, too defensive for that hour. He noticed. He did not move yet, just watched her silhouette in the pale gray morning light. Her shoulders tightened before she even unlocked the screen. Then she turned away from him. Tiny movement, but loud. Everything was loud lately. She whispered something under her breath. Not words, just breath. Like she had been holding it in all night. Evan rolled onto his back and stared at the ceiling fan, spinning slow circles above them. "You are imagining things," he told himself. But his chest already felt tight. The kettle screamed again. He got up. Bare feet against the cold wood floor. The house smelled like burnt toast from yesterday's failed attempt at breakfast. He turned the stove off. Hands shaking slightly, and he hated that he noticed. Maya walked in a minute later. Hair tied up too neatly for someone who just woke up. Phone still in her hand. She gave him a quick kiss on the cheek. Too quick. "I booked it," she said. He poured water into 2 mugs. "Booked what? Girls' trip, remember? I told you, lake weekend, just us." He nodded. He did remember her mentioning something. Weeks ago, vague, floating words while they folded laundry, he had said sure without looking up from a work email. Now, it felt like he had signed something important without reading. "When do you leave?" "Friday afternoon. That soon?" She smiled. Bright, practiced. "Yeah, I need this." He looked at her. "You okay?" She laughed. "Why would I not be?" He did not answer. "Because you do not laugh like that when you are okay." But he just handed her the mug. They stood there sipping in silence. The fridge hummed. A dog barked somewhere outside. Life sounded normal. His stomach did not. Friday came too fast. Maya packed Thursday night. She packed like someone leaving for a month, not a weekend. 3 outfits for dinner, 2 swimsuits, makeup bag twice its usual size. Evan sat on the edge of the bed pretending to scroll on his phone. He watched everything. "You need help?" he asked. "No, I got it." She zipped the suitcase shut with a final tug. He waited for her to sit beside him. She did not. She checked her phone again. Her jaw tightened when she read something. "Who are you going with again?" he asked, keeping his tone casual. She listed 3 names. 2 he knew, 1 he had never heard before. "Who is that? Friend of Lily's." "Since when do you hang with Lily's friends?" She shrugged. "Since now, I guess." He nodded. He wanted to ask more. He did not want to be that husband, the suspicious one, the insecure one. So he swallowed the question. Friday afternoon came with heavy clouds and the smell of rain. Maya hugged him at the door, long hug, almost guilty. "Call me when you get there," he said. "Of course." She got into the rideshare. He stood on the porch watching the car disappear. Something inside him whispered, "This feels wrong." He told it to shut up. At 6:20 p.m. his phone buzzed. "Made it," she texted. He stared at the message. No photo, no group selfie, no lake in the background. Just words. He typed back, "Have fun." A minute later, she sent a picture. 4 wine glasses on a wooden table, no faces. He zoomed in. The table looked like a restaurant. Not a cabin. Maybe they stopped for dinner first, he told himself. Do not start. Saturday morning, he woke up alone. The house was too quiet. He made coffee, sat at the kitchen counter, scrolled social media. Maya had posted nothing. One of the friends she mentioned had posted a story. Brunch downtown. Tagged location. In the city, not near any lake. He stared at it. Maybe old photo. Maybe different day. His chest tightened again. He opened their shared location app. They barely used it, mostly for safety when traveling. Her dot pulsed on the map. Not at a lake, not in a cabin, not even near water. Downtown, at a boutique hotel. His fingers went cold. He zoomed in, zoomed out. Like changing the scale would change the truth. He set the phone down, picked it up again. "You are overreacting," he whispered. "Maybe the girls changed plans. Maybe the cabin booking fell through. Maybe. He called her. It rang and rang. Then voicemail. He tried again, straight to voicemail. He sat there listening to the fridge hum again, same sound as yesterday, but now it felt like a warning siren. He texted, "Everything okay?" No reply. He walked to the living room, paced, sat, stood again. He opened the location app one more time. The dot moved. From the hotel to a street nearby, then stopped. Outside a high-rise apartment building. He stared at the building name on the map. He knew that building. Luxury condos. Not exactly girls' trip territory. His stomach dropped. He called again. Voicemail. He typed, "Where are you?" Still nothing. Time stretched. He imagined worst-case scenarios. Car accident. Phone stolen. Something bad. That was easier to believe than the other possibility. At 11:40 a.m., she finally texted, "Sorry, phone died. We're at the lake now. Reception is bad." He stared at the message. Lake. Her dot was still downtown. He looked from the map to the text and back again, like they were two different realities fighting each other. He felt heat rise up his neck. He typed, "Which lake?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. He watched them like they were a heartbeat monitor. "Lake Harmon," she wrote. He knew Lake Harmon, 2 hours away. He checked the map again. Her dot did not move, not even a little. He sat down slowly. The kitchen chair creaked under him. He felt stupid, embarrassed, like someone laughing at a joke he was just starting to understand. He called again. This time she answered. "Hey," she said. Voice bright, a little breathless. "You at Lake Harmon?" "Yeah, just got here." He looked at the screen. The location dot glowing like an accusation. "Send me a pic. Why? Just want to see. You do not trust me now?" Her tone shifted, defensive, sharp. "I just want to see the lake." Pause. "Signal is bad," she said. "I will send later." He closed his eyes. "Okay." They hung up. He sat there a long time, then he did something he had never done before. He opened the shared credit card app, scrolled through recent charges. Hotel bar, downtown, last night, 2 drinks, dinner for 2. His ears rang. He zoomed in on the transaction. Timestamp, 9:15 p.m. She had texted him at 9:10 saying, "Girls' night, movie, talk later." He felt like he was watching his own life from outside his body. He drove downtown without really deciding to. The sky finally broke and rain started coming down in sheets. Traffic lights blurred. His hands gripped the steering wheel too tight. He parked a block away from the hotel. Sat in the car, heart pounding like he had run miles. You do not want to see this. But he got out anyway. Rain soaked through his jacket in seconds. He stood across the street from the hotel entrance. People walked in and out, couples, business travelers. He felt invisible. He felt like a fool. At 12:23 p.m. he saw her. Maya, hair down now, different jacket than the one she packed, laughing, with a man he had never seen before. The man touched her lower back as they stepped under the awning. She leaned into him, natural, easy, like it was not new, like it was not wrong. Evan felt something break inside his chest. Not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet, clean snap. He did not storm over, did not yell, he just stood there, watching his wife kiss someone else under a gray sky while rainwater dripped off his hair into his eyes. She pulled away first, said something. They both laughed. Then they walked back inside together. Evan stayed frozen on the sidewalk. Cars splashing water past him. No one looking. No one knowing that his whole life had just tilted off its axis. He finally moved. Got back in his car, sat there dripping. Hands shaking so hard he could not turn the key at first. He rested his forehead against the steering wheel. and for the first time in years he cried. Not quiet tears, ugly ones, shoulders shaking, breath breaking, alone in a car that still smelled like the air freshener she bought last month. He drove home in silence, did not turn on the radio, did not call anyone. The house greeted him with the same quiet hum. He walked into the bedroom. Her side of the closet open. Hangers spaced where clothes used to be, not all, just enough. He sat on the bed, picked up one of her sweaters she had left behind, pressed it to his face. It still smelled like her shampoo. He hated that he noticed. His phone buzzed. "Hope you are having a chill day," she texted. "Miss you." He stared at the words, then laughed, a short, broken sound. He typed back, "I know where you are." No reply. 3 dots appeared, vanished, appeared again. "You are crazy," she wrote. "We are literally at the lake." He sent a screenshot, her location. The hotel charge, timestamps, then another message. "I saw you." Long silence. Then, "It is not what you think." He closed his eyes. Of course. Of course it was that line. "Then explain," he typed. Minutes passed, each one stretching like an hour finally. "I did not know how to tell you. Tell me what?" "That I have not been happy." He read it 3 times. Rain started again outside, soft against the windows. "You cheat before you talk?" He did not add a question mark. She did not answer that. "We were going to tell you after this weekend." We. That word hit harder than anything else. He sat back against the headboard, stared at the ceiling. He felt small, replaceable, like a placeholder in someone else's story. "Who is he?" he asked. "Does it matter?" "Yes." Pause. "His name is Daniel." Evan nodded to himself. Of course, his name would be something normal, ordinary, like this was just an ordinary thing. "How long?" Another pause. 6 months, he felt his throat close. 6 months of shared dinners, shared beds, shared jokes. While she was somewhere else in her head, he wanted to scream. Instead, he just typed, "Do not come home tonight." He put the phone face down, lay back, stared at the fan again, same slow circles, same ceiling, different life. Hours later, he got up, walked to the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror, eyes red, face puffy. He looked older. Like grief aged you in real time. He splashed water on his face, hands trembling. He laughed, again softly. "You never saw it, you idiot." He thought back. Late nights at work. Phone always face down, new gym membership she never used before. Little lies. Tiny cracks he had smoothed over because it was easier, because trusting felt better than questioning. He slid down the bathroom wall and sat on the cold tile floor, head in his hands. Not angry now, just empty. His phone buzzed again. "I am sorry," she wrote. He did not reply. Night fell slowly. The house creaked in the cooling air. He sat in the dark living room without turning on lights. Memories moved through his mind like ghosts. Their first apartment, cheap couch, takeout on the floor. Her laugh. Her hand finding his in the dark at movie theaters. He felt like he was mourning someone who was still alive. Around 10 p.m., another message. "Can we talk when I get back tomorrow?" He stared at it. Tomorrow. Like this was a dentist appointment. Like it could be scheduled. He typed, "Bring your key. You will need it." He did not know exactly what he meant, but it felt final. He set the phone down, and for the first time since morning he slept. Not peacefully, but deep. Like his body shut down to survive the shock. Morning light came gray and heavy. He woke with a headache and a strange calm. The kind that comes after something breaks completely. He made coffee. Hands steady now, sat at the table, opened his laptop, looked at their shared bank account, looked at the mortgage, the savings. Numbers that used to mean future vacations and maybe kids. Now they looked like exit routes. His phone buzzed. "On my way home," she wrote. He did not answer. He just sat there waiting, feeling every second. Not like time passing, like a countdown. To the conversation that would end everything they had built. And somewhere under the hurt, Under the humiliation, under the betrayal, a quiet voice whispered, "At least now you know the truth." And truth, no matter how brutal, is cleaner than doubt. He took a long breath, stared at the front door, and waited. The sound of tires on wet gravel came first, then the soft click of the gate, then her key in the lock. Evan stayed at the kitchen table. He did not pace this time. He did not hide his face. He did not practice lines in his head. He just sat there with his coffee going cold. The door opened. Maya stepped inside like she was entering a room where someone had died, because something had. Her smile tried to appear and failed halfway. She set her suitcase down gently, as if noise might shatter whatever was left. Evan looked at her. Not the version he loved. Not the version he had imagined forgiving. Just the woman standing in his doorway after 6 months of lying. She swallowed. "Hey," her voice was smaller now. Evan did not answer right away. He watched her eyes flick to her phone, then back to him. Her hands were empty. No gift, no silly souvenir, no lake photo, just herself. He finally spoke. "How was the lake?" She flinched like the words were a slap. "Evan, no. Do not start with my name like it fixes anything." She stepped closer. "Please, I did not know how to tell you." He nodded slowly. "I saw you, I know." Her eyes filled fast. She looked surprised by her own tears, like she had been holding them back to stay in control. Evan felt nothing soften. That was the weirdest part. He remembered thinking that if he ever caught her, he would explode. He would break something. He would scream. But now he just felt tired. Maya whispered, "It is not what you think." Evan leaned back in the chair. "Tell me what I think." She hesitated. "You think I do not love you." He stared at her. "Do you?" Her lips parted. No sound came out. That silence answered him better than any speech. He felt a sting behind his eyes and hated it. He stood up. The chair scraped. Maya jumped at the sound. He walked past her and opened the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water. A simple action. But his hands were shaking again. Not from fear, from the effort of staying calm. "When I was across the street," he said, still facing the fridge, "you looked happy." Maya's voice cracked. "I was pretending." He turned around. "Funny, because you never pretended like that with me anymore." Her shoulders sagged. "Evan, I have been drowning." He stared at her. "Then why did you pull someone else into the water with you instead of telling me you could not breathe?" She wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand. "I tried." "No, you did not." Her chin lifted slightly. Defensive again. Instinct, "I did. I just did not want to hurt you." Evan laughed once. Low. Bitter. "You did not want to hurt me." She looked down. He stepped closer until they were only a few feet apart. His voice stayed even. "You lied to my face. You let me pour you coffee while you texted him. You kissed him in a hotel entrance while I stood in the rain like a stranger. You charged dinner for 2 on our card like it was nothing." Maya's breathing turned shallow. He watched her, waiting for her to deny it, waiting for her to blame him, waiting for her to turn it into an argument so he could feel something simple like anger. Instead, she whispered, "I am sorry, that was all." No defense, no explanation. Just 2 words. Evan stared at her. "Then ask yourself something," he said quietly. "If you were sorry, why did you keep going?" Her face twisted. "Because I felt alive." The words hung there. Sharp, honest, cruel. Evan blinked slowly. There it was, the humiliation. Not just betrayal, being told to his face that he was the opposite of life. He nodded once. "Okay." Maya's eyes widened. "That is it, okay." Evan walked back to the table, picked up his phone. He had prepared. Not with drama, with proof. The screenshot of her location. The hotel charge, the brunch story. He turned the phone screen toward her. "This is what you told me." He swiped. This is where you were, he swiped again. This is what you spent. Maya stared at the screen like it could burn her. Then she looked at him, voice shaking. I know I messed up, like she forgot to pick up milk. Evan felt something ugly crawl up his throat. He took a breath. Do not minimize it. She closed her eyes. Okay, I ruined it. He sat down again. Maya remained standing, like she did not know where she belonged now. Evan spoke slowly. How long have you been planning to leave? Maya opened her mouth, then closed it. That pause told him everything. So it was not just the affair. It was the exit plan. The quiet rearranging of a life while he stayed inside it like a tenant who did not know eviction was coming. He nodded. Who else knows? Maya swallowed. Lily and Jenna. Evan stared at her. The friends she claimed were on the trip, so the girls' trip was real, just not in the way he thought. They covered for you, Maya whispered. They thought it would be better if we waited until after your promotion review. Evan's eyes narrowed. My promotion review. His voice got colder. So you knew enough to not sabotage my work, but not enough to not sabotage my life. Maya's lips trembled. I did not want you to lose it because of me. Evan stood up again. He felt heat now. Not rage, a slow burn. You do not get credit for not destroying everything when you already destroyed the core. Maya took a step back. Evan watched her. It was strange. He had loved her, and now he was studying her like a stranger, like he was trying to understand how someone becomes the kind of person who can kiss another man and still come home and say, miss you. Maya's voice turned softer. Daniel is not the reason this started. Evan's jaw tightened. Do not do that. Do not make it about me. Her eyes flashed. I am not. I am telling you the truth. I've been unhappy for a long time. Evan nodded. So talk. Tell me when it started. Maya hesitated. Then words poured out, messy and raw. After your dad got sick, you changed. You disappeared into work. You were here, but you were not here. Every conversation felt like a checklist. Bills, schedule, groceries. You never looked at me like you used to. Evan's throat tightened. He remembered that year. Hospitals, late nights, debt, fear. He also remembered Maya sitting on the couch scrolling through her phone while he tried to make calls and manage everything. He had not been perfect, but he had been trying. His voice stayed low. So you went looking for someone who would look at you, Maya whispered. He listened. He asked me things. He noticed me. Evan stared at her. And that was worth lying to me for 6 months. Tears rolled down her cheeks again. I did not plan it. It happened. Then I could not stop. Evan felt his hands clench. He forced them open. I need you to hear something. Maya sniffed. Okay. Evan stepped closer. This is not a conversation where you confess and I forgive and we go to couples therapy and we pretend it never happened. Maya's face went pale. Evan, no. He held up a hand. Stop. Maya froze. Evan's voice broke slightly on the next words. You watched me trust you. You watched me be kind to you. You watched me make space for you, and you still did it. Maya sobbed quietly. Evan's chest tightened again. He looked away, angry at his own weak body, then he looked back at her. Here is what is going to happen. Maya's eyes searched his face. He spoke with calm he did not feel. You're going to stay somewhere else tonight. Maya shook her head. I do not have anywhere. Call Lily, call Jenna, call Daniel, call anyone who is part of this. Maya whispered. Please do not do this right now. Evan's voice hardened. Right now is the only time. Maya's shoulders shook. Evan. Evan felt his eyes burning again, and this time he did not hide it. He let a tear fall. One, then another. He hated that she got to see it, but he was done performing strength. He spoke slowly. I am not doing this to punish you. I am doing it because if you stay in this house tonight, I will lose the part of me that still believes I have dignity." Maya stared at him like she had never heard him speak like that. She whispered, "I never wanted to humiliate you." Evan let out a breath that sounded like a laugh and a sob at once. "But you did." Then he turned, walked to the hallway closet, pulled out the spare key ring. He held it out to her. "Give me your key." Maya's face crumpled. "No, this is my home too." Evan's voice stayed steady. "Not tonight." She stared at the keys in his hand. Her hand shook as she reached into her purse. She pulled out her key, held it tight, like if she held it long enough the last few years could stay intact. Then she placed it in his palm. Metal clink. Small sound. Huge meaning. Evan closed his fingers around it. Maya whispered, "Are you done with me?" Evan swallowed. He looked at her. He wanted to say yes, but honesty forced another answer. "I do not know what I'm done with yet." That hurt her more than yes would have. She nodded slowly. Then she grabbed her suitcase. Her hands trembling so much the zipper rattled. At the door, she stopped. She did not turn around at first. Then she did. Her eyes red. Voice barely audible. "I did love you." Evan stared at her. He said nothing, because if he spoke, he might say something he could not take back. Maya left, the door closed, the lock clicked, and Evan stood there in the quiet house again. But this time the quiet did not feel normal. It felt like a verdict. He sank down on the floor by the door, back against the wall. The suitcase wheels had left wet marks on the hardwood. He stared at them. Stupid detail, but it stabbed him. Because it meant the betrayal was physical. It had weight. It rolled through his home. He pressed his fist against his mouth to stop himself from making noise, but a sound escaped anyway, a raw, ugly sound, not a scream, not a sob. Something in between. Like an animal trying not to die in public. He stayed like that until his legs went numb. Then he stood up. He walked to the living room. Turned on a lamp. He opened his laptop again. He typed "divorce lawyer" near me. His finger hovered. He closed the laptop. Not yet. Not because he was soft. Because part of him wanted to understand before he destroyed everything. He opened the location app again. Maya's dot moved, then stopped, at a different address. Not a friend's, not Lily's. A condo building. His stomach turned. Daniel. So even now, she went to him. Evan closed the app. He sat back, and for the first time since seeing her under that awning, anger finally arrived. Not loud, not explosive. A cold anger, a clear one. Like ice forming in a glass. He whispered to himself, "Okay, you want to rewrite the story. Then you do not get to rewrite it alone." He stood, went to the bedroom, opened the closet, looked at the empty hangers again. He pulled out a cardboard box from the garage, brought it upstairs. Then he started packing her things. Not throwing, not breaking, just packing. Methodical, every item a memory, every memory a bruise. A sweater, her favorite mug, the book she read twice, a photo from their anniversary at the coast. He stared at the photo, and they were smiling, sun in their eyes. He remembered how happy he had felt that day. He felt nauseous now. He placed the photo face down in the box. His hands shook when he reached her jewelry drawer. He opened it. The drawer smelled like her perfume. It hit his throat hard. He stopped, froze. Then his body betrayed him again. He sank to the floor beside the open drawer, and he whispered like a prayer, "How did we get here?" Then he remembered. Not all at once, but in flashes. The last year. The way she would sigh when he talked about work. The way she would disappear into the bathroom with her phone. The way she started wearing perfume on random weekdays. The way she suddenly hated his touch. He had seen it. He had chosen not to name it, because naming it would mean risking loss. Now, he had loss anyway. He wiped his face, stood up, finished packing, 2 boxes, then 3. By midnight, the hallway looked like someone was moving out. someone was. Just not the person who deserved to. Evan stood at the top of the stairs staring down at the boxes, his breath steady, his eyes dry now. He felt like something inside him had hardened, not into cruelty, into resolve. His phone buzzed. "Maya, can I come home, please? I have nowhere to sleep." Daniel and I fought. Evan stared at the message. He felt the smallest, ugliest spark of satisfaction, then shame, then clarity. He typed back, "You chose your bed, sleep in it." He put the phone down, sat on the stairs, and waited. Because he knew this was not over, not even close. The humiliation had happened, the evidence was clear. Now the reversal had to come. But the reversal could not be revenge for revenge's sake. It had to be truth. Receipts, a clean ending, and a moment where Evan stopped being the man standing in the rain and became the man who decided what happens next. Sunday morning came with sunlight, too bright for what his life felt like. Evan stood in the kitchen looking at the coffee mug Maya used to hold. He did not cry, he did not yell, he just made a choice. He opened his phone, and he called the only person who could confirm the one detail that would decide everything. The hotel. He asked for the front desk, his voice steady. "Hi, I think my wife may have checked in under my card this weekend. I need the receipt emailed for expense tracking." A pause. Then the clerk asked for the last 4 digits and the name. Evan gave it. The clerk confirmed. "Yes, Mr. Carter, we can email the folio." Folio. The word felt like a blade. Evan's throat tightened. "Please send it." He hung up. He stared at his inbox, waiting, and when the email arrived, he opened it. His eyes scanned the lines. Room, taxes, bar charges, dinner, and then 2 guests, 2, not 1. His hand tightened around the phone. So Daniel stayed in the room. Not just dinner, not just a kiss, a full weekend. His stomach turned. He walked to the bathroom and threw up. Ugly. Violent. No control. He braced his hands on the sink, spit, wiped his mouth. Looked at himself again, eyes hollow, face pale. He whispered, "Okay. Now we do this for real." He turned, went back to the kitchen, opened his laptop. And this time he did not close it. He typed, "Family law attorney consultation." Then he typed something else, not revenge, preparation. He searched, how to protect assets before divorce, because Evan was not broke, not even close. Maya did not know that. That was the part she never asked about anymore. She thought he was just a boring corporate guy, a man who worked too late for too little. She never knew why he stayed calm about money, why he never argued over her shopping, why he always said, "We are fine." Because he was not building a paycheck, he was building something else, a quiet, invisible foundation. And now, that foundation would be the difference between being destroyed and walking away with his life intact. His phone buzzed again. "Maya, please talk to me. I am scared." Evan stared at the message. He did not reply. He took a breath, and he opened a new email. He forwarded the hotel folio to himself. Then he made a folder. Receipts. He named it something simple. Truth. And as he clicked save, his hands finally stopped shaking, because he was no longer guessing, no longer begging for honesty. He had proof. Now, the next time Maya walked through that door, the conversation would not be her story. It would be the truth. And the truth was going to change everything. Monday morning felt wrong. Sunlight poured through the kitchen window like nothing had changed. Evan sat at the table with a legal pad and a pen. He had not used paper for years. Now, he needed something physical, something that did not disappear with a swipe. He wrote at the top of the page, "Facts." Not feelings. Facts. He listed dates. The hotel charge, the brunch post, the location pin, the lie about the lake. 6 months. Each line steadied him. Grief was fog. Facts were railings. At 9:10 a.m. his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered, calm. "This is Evan," a woman's voice, warm but direct. "Hi, I am Sandra Whitmore's office. You booked a consultation for 11. Sandra Whitmore. Top-rated family attorney in the city. Evan had read reviews at 2 in the morning while the house felt haunted. "Yes, I will be there." He hung up and looked around the kitchen. The fruit bowl Maya always kept full was empty. The chair where she sat scrolling her phone while he cooked dinner was pushed in too neatly. Absence had shape. He showered, put on a button-down, not a suit. He did not want to look like he was performing success. He wanted to look like a man who was thinking clearly. The law office smelled like coffee and printer ink. Sandra Whitmore looked to be in her mid-50s. Sharp eyes, kind mouth. The kind of person who had seen everything and stopped being surprised by any of it. She shook his hand. "Tell me what happened." Evan did not dramatize. He did not insult Maya. He laid out the timeline, the lies, the proof. Sandra listened without interrupting. When he finished, she folded her hands. "Do you want reconciliation or protection?" The word protection landed deep. "Protection," he said. She nodded once. "Then we move carefully. Do not confront her with legal threats yet. Do not leave the house. Do not empty accounts. Document everything. If she has been unfaithful and you have financial records, that matters in negotiation, sometimes in court depending on jurisdiction." Evan nodded. He felt like he was in a strategy meeting, not talking about his marriage. Sandra continued. "Most important. Do not let guilt push you into giving away what you built just to feel like the good guy." He looked at her. "I am not trying to hurt her." Sandra's eyes softened. Protecting yourself is not hurting someone. It is refusing to let them hurt you twice. That stayed with him. He left with a folder. Checklist. Next steps. Reality. In the parking lot, he sat in his car for a long time before starting the engine. His life had shifted from emotional to logistical, and that somehow hurt more. When he got home, Maya was sitting on the front steps, suitcase beside her, eyes red. She stood when she saw him. "I did not know where else to go." Evan's chest tightened, but he kept his face still. "You had options." She shook her head. "Daniel is not what I thought." Evan almost laughed. The timing was too perfect. "You mean he is not good at being the safe place once the secret becomes real?" Maya flinched. "I ended it." He unlocked the door, went inside. She followed. Her voice rushed. "He does not want a relationship. He thought this was just fun. He has someone else, too." Evan stopped walking, turned slowly. "So, you lost the fantasy." Maya's lip trembled. "I lost everything." Evan looked at her a long moment. Then he said something he did not plan. "You did not lose me. You walked away from me." She broke at that, collapsed onto the couch, crying hard now. The kind of crying that makes breathing ugly. Evan stood there, watching. He felt sadness, but not the old reflex to comfort. That reflex was gone. She looked up at him. "Please do not give up on us." Evan took a breath. "I already did not give up. I stayed while you left." She covered her face. "I made a mistake." Evan's voice stayed level. "A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You built a second life." Silence filled the room. Then Maya whispered, "What are you going to do?" Evan answered honestly, "I do not know yet." That scared her more than anger would have. She reached for his hand. He stepped back. "Do not." Her hand fell. He saw shame cross her face. Good. She needed to feel it, not to suffer, to understand. "My lawyer said not to make big decisions while emotional," he said. Her head snapped up. "Lawyer. Yes." Maya went pale. Evan continued, "I am protecting myself. That does not mean divorce tomorrow. It means reality, not promises." Maya stared at him like she was seeing a version she had never bothered to look for. "You are different." Evan nodded. "I am," she whispered. "I never thought you would be strong when you thought I was weak." The truth sat between them. She had mistaken quiet for small, stability for lack of depth. He walked to the kitchen, poured water. His hand trembled slightly. He hated that she could still affect his body. Maya spoke from the living room. "Can we try therapy?" Evan leaned against the counter. He imagined sitting on a couch explaining to a stranger how his wife lied every day for half a year. He felt tired just thinking about it. "Maybe," he said, "but not because you are scared of being alone. Only if you understand, you already burned the version of us that existed." Maya nodded quickly. "I will do anything." Evan looked at her. Anything would have been honesty 6 months ago. Now anything meant consequences. He walked to the hallway, saw the boxes of her things. Maya followed his gaze. Her voice broke. "You packed my stuff." "Yes, because I needed to see what leaving looks like." She walked toward the boxes slowly, touched the top one like it might disappear. Evan watched her. This was the part no one posts online. No dramatic shouting, no cinematic exit. Just two people standing in the ruins of their own decisions. Maya whispered, "Where would I even go?" Evan answered gently, "That is not my job to solve anymore." Tears rolled down her face again. He felt a flicker of guilt, then remembered the rain outside the hotel, the way she laughed with him, the way she lied without shaking. Guilt faded. His phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. He opened it. It was a screenshot of his social media profile sent from Daniel, caption under it, "We need to talk man to man." Evan stared at the message. Maya saw his face change. "What?" He turned the screen toward her. Her face drained of color. "Oh my God." Evan's jaw tightened. "So he is brave now." Maya shook her head. "I did not give him your number." Evan gave a dry smile. "There are many ways to find someone when you think you deserve a conversation." Maya whispered, "Please do not meet him." Evan looked at her. "I am not going to fight him." She nodded quickly. "Good." Evan's eyes stayed cold. "I am going to let him talk. Because sometimes the truth sounds different when it comes from the person who thought you were disposable." Maya covered her mouth. Evan typed back. "Time and place." Then he set the phone down. Maya stared at him like he had become someone unfamiliar. Maybe he had. Pain reshapes people. Not always into monsters. Sometimes into men who stop pretending everything is fine. Evan walked past her. Went to the bedroom, closed the door, sat on the edge of the bed. He felt the weight of the coming confrontation. Not with fists, with facts, with presence. With the quiet confidence of a man who had nothing left to lose except illusions. He took a deep breath, and for the first time since Friday, he did not feel like the man in the rain. He felt like the man who had stepped out of it. The coffee shop Daniel chose was loud enough to hide private conversations. Late afternoon crowd. Students with laptops. People pretending not to listen. Evan arrived first. He picked a table near the window, back straight, hands folded, calm on the outside. Inside, something sharp and steady. Daniel walked in 3 minutes late. He looked younger than Evan expected. Casual jacket, confident stride that slowed when he recognized the man already watching him. They did not shake hands. Daniel sat. "So," he said, exhaling like this was inconvenient, "I guess we should talk." Evan studied him. This was the man who'd been in his wife's messages at midnight. The man who touched her back like he belonged there. "You wanted to talk man to man," Evan said, "so talk." Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. "Look, I did not know she was still fully with you like that." Evan blinked once. Still fully, Daniel hurried on. "She said you guys were basically roommates, that it was over, just paperwork." Evan felt the familiar sting. He kept his voice level. "Did you believe that?" Daniel hesitated. She sounded convincing. Evan nodded slowly. "She is good at that." Daniel leaned forward. "I am not trying to steal someone's wife. I thought it was already done." Evan watched his face. looking for arrogance, for guilt, for anything real. "What did you think this weekend was?" Evan asked. Daniel shrugged. She said she wanted closure. "Closure?" Evan almost smiled. "You booked a hotel for closure." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Okay, that sounds bad. But she told me she was leaving you anyway." Evan nodded. "She told me she was at a lake." Daniel looked down at the table. Silence stretched. Finally, Daniel spoke quietly. "She cried after you texted her that night." Evan's chest tightened. He did not ask what kind of crying. Daniel continued. "She said she did not think you would ever actually stand up for yourself. She thought you would just take it." The words hit harder than anything else. Not just betrayal. Disrespect. Evan held Daniel's gaze. "Thank you for telling me." Daniel blinked. "That is it." Evan nodded. "That is it." Daniel looked confused. "You are not going to yell or threaten me." Evan stood up. "No, because this was never about you winning. It was about me finally seeing clearly." He placed a few bills on the table for his untouched coffee, then he left. Outside, the air felt cold and clean. Something inside him had settled. Not healed. Settled. At home, Maya was sitting at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug she had not drunk from. She looked up when he walked in. Her eyes searched his face. "Well." Evan hung his jacket on the chair. "He told me you said we were already over." Maya closed her eyes. Evan continued. "He said you thought I would just accept it quietly." Tears filled her eyes again. "I was wrong. Yes, you were." She stood, walked toward him slowly. "I am so sorry." Evan believed that she felt pain. He also understood that pain and accountability were not the same thing. He spoke gently, which somehow hurt her more. "Sorry does not rewind time." She nodded, crying openly now. "I know." He looked at her a long moment. Then he walked past her into the living room. Sat down. She followed, but stayed standing. "What happens now?" she whispered. Evan leaned forward, elbows on knees. "Now we deal with reality, not fear." Her breathing shook. "Are you divorcing me?" Evan took a breath. "Yes." The word landed heavy and final. Maya covered her mouth, collapsed into the chair across from him. Sobs came hard. Evan felt his own eyes burn, but he did not look away this time. He let himself feel it. The grief, the anger, the love that had nowhere to go. "I never thought you would actually leave," she said through tears. Evan nodded. "I know, that was the problem." Silence filled the house. Not empty silence. "The kind that comes after a verdict is read," Maya whispered. "Is there anything I can do?" Evan answered honestly. "Be fair. Do not turn this into a war because you are scared." She nodded quickly. "I will not fight you." He held her gaze. "Then prove it." The next weeks moved in strange, slow motion. Paperwork, emails, meetings. Their house felt like a place between lives. They divided things quietly. No screaming, no plates breaking, just signatures. One afternoon, Maya stood in the doorway with the last of her boxes. She looked smaller somehow. "I never wanted to be the villain in your story," she said. Evan met her eyes. "You were not the villain. You were the lesson." She flinched, then nodded. "Goodbye, Evan. Goodbye, Maya." The door closed behind her. This time for real. The house felt different. Not haunted. Just empty. Evan walked through each room slowly, touching walls, counters, the place where his life had cracked open. He stopped in the bedroom. Sunlight hit the bed at the same angle it had that morning he first felt something was wrong. He sat down, took a long breath. He was not okay, not healed, not strong in a heroic way. He was just awake. Awake to the truth. Awake to the fact that love without honesty is just performance. Awake to the fact that being quiet does not mean being weak. Months later, he stood in a new apartment, smaller, quieter, cleaner in a way the old house never was. He unpacked a single-framed photo, Not of Maya, of himself and his dad years ago at a baseball game. Both of them sunburned and smiling. He set it on his shelf. Then he made coffee. Sat by the window, city noise below. Life moving forward whether you are ready or not. His phone buzzed. Message from an unknown number. Just 3 words. I am sorry, no name. He knew who it was. He looked at the screen a long time. Then he deleted it, not out of hate, out of closure. Some stories do not get sequels. They get endings. And endings, even painful ones, are still a form of freedom. He took a sip of coffee, looked out at the city, and for the first time since that morning with the buzzing phone, his chest did not feel tight. Not because it did not hurt anymore, but because the hurt finally had truth to stand on. And truth, even when it breaks you, also sets you free. If this story hit you in a place you did not expect, you are not alone. A lot of people have stood in that same quiet kitchen holding a phone, realizing the life they trusted was not the life they were living. If you have ever been lied to, underestimated, or forced to find strength you did not know you had, this channel is for you. Here we tell real-feeling stories about betrayal, truth, and the moment ordinary people decide they will not stay small anymore. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next story. There is always another truth waiting to be uncovered. And before you go, tell me in the comments, at what moment did you realize Evan should never go back? I read the comments, and your perspective might be the one someone else needs to hear tonight.